Welcome back to Sports Tonight. Look who joins us here in studio, Richard Oliver, to talk a little Astros baseball. Don't leave me hanging there, Richard.
I'm sorry.
No, hey, by the way, speaking of not leaving you hanging, we're going to get you right back out to the Spurs practice facility for more live coverage. Joe Jonek continuing our live reports from out there on this crazy NBA Draft Night 2018. But Richard, we're going to talk Astros here for the next couple of minutes, and what a time to do so. Well-deserved day off today after a stretch that saw them win 12 games in a row, the third time in franchise history. Yep. They've reached 12. Couldn't quite get the 13 for the first time in franchise history, but I think fans with very little to be angry about right now.
Oh, I tell you, you win 13 out of 14. And what's really cool is when you go back and talk about what the Astros are doing right now, they're doing what they're supposed to do against the teams they're supposed to do it against. You know, we talked about the Indians, Red Sox, Yankees stretch there where the Spurs kind of the Astros kind of broke even. Then they turn around and get into this stretch here where they're playing teams that are really kind of pedestrian in the standings. In fact, 32 consecutive games against teams where the Oakland A's were the only one that had a winning record heading into that stretch. The Astros win 12 straight, lose the one, 2-1, tight game, and then of course have the win the other night with 3 consecutive home runs.
Right.
The Astros are doing some remarkable things.
Speaking of the 3 consecutive home runs and offensive output like that, oh, by the way, the pitchers, the starting pitching staff actually came back down to earth a little bit, but that's how good the streak was, and that's how good the offense has been that they still were able to, reel off the 12 straight wins.
Yeah, and it went from the pitching staff being awesomely incredible, unbelievable, historical to being still really good, except for Dallas Keuchel, who just has had a miserable little stretch here, and then Lance McCullers, who continues to be uneven. But boy, what you love is if you're the Astros, and if you're Astros fans, when you look at Justin Verlander, you look at Garrett Cole, you look at Charlie Morton, who's kind of come back from kind of some miserable outings as well. You've got those guys, 3 guys who every night will go out there give you a great chance to win. And of course, Lance McCullers, he's a pretty solid pitcher.
Yeah.
They got to get Dallas Keuchel back, obviously. But right now, you've got to love the balance of this Astros team.
Keuchel actually had a decent outing in that on Sunday against the Royals. Other aspect of the Astros pitchers, the bullpen.
Yeah.
Much maligned, and deservedly so, considering the starting pitching and that offense. But they've seemed to have come around the last couple of weeks.
And I think it's a matter of A.J. Hinch kind of coming around on how he's going to use them. I think that first part of the first third of the season when they were just miserable in spots. And then now you see he's got Rondon now as the closer. He's kind of settled on that. Joe Smith, it turns out, had a little sore arm issue, so, we kind of explained away kind of what was going on with him. You move Ken Giles back into maybe a little non-pressure situation. He's responding very well. And then, of course, they're playing, the other guys are really kind of picking it up in the middle innings. You look at Davinsky, what he's doing. You look at Will Harris, what he's doing. Colin McHugh. All of a sudden, they're kind of in the spots they need to be. And I think A.J. Hinch is kind of settled. And he said, you know what, Rondon's the guy I'm going to ride with right now. So far, so good. And overall, they're picking up the pace for everybody.
No, we mentioned the Royals are coming up next. Not the kind of elite team, unlike the Yankees, unlike the Red Sox, where it's kind of fun to, hey, what are we going to see coming out of this series? But I think to your point earlier, Richard, important to see what comes out of that Royals series, and then after that, the Jays series, to see if Houston can continue to take advantage of an important stretch right now, because as we all know, the schedule's not going to stay this easy forever.
No, that's true, and this is actually a remarkable easy stretch of the schedule, and the fact the Astros are doing what they're supposed to do against these teams is wonderful. Now, here's the thing you can't let up. And it's funny, you and I talked early in the year about being defending World Series champions, the idea of having the big bullseye on your back, being the champions. How do you respond to that? Do you continue to play at an elite level, or do you kind of get a little lax against the teams that maybe you shouldn't be lax against? I'm encouraged by the fact that the Astros have played the Blue Jays of the world, the A's of the world, the Royals, the Rangers, and they've played them tough, and they've played spirited baseball. That's encouraging. They've got to win those kind of games, because that's when it really pays off come September, when you get into the thick of the pennant race.
Always appreciate your time, man.
You're watching Sports Tonight, San Antonio's only nightly 30-minute sportscast with exclusive sports coverage you won't find anywhere else.